You're one of the average players who have been playing this game for like 3 to 4 years or more and still haven't improved. Here is a solution to take your attacking game to the next level and even reach Elite Division consistently in Rivals. Today we have 9 attacking tricks. They are so simple, but these are some of the hidden tricks elite players use to break any defense on FC24. Follow each step to another to get something out of this video. Visit u7buy.com and get some cheap, safe, and reliable FC coins. You have to build a strong squad to manage the competition. Use the discount code DRFC for 6% off, link in the description. Naturally, we tend to follow the game direction in the way we attack, like passing the ball from one side of the pitch to another side, or passing 2 to 3 passes in the same direction. It's so effective since defenders in FC24 overload on the ball side, so you pass and to change side, opening up spaces to exploit. But even though it's very effective to open spaces, but it's very predictable, especially against highly experienced players who will anticipate that and defend your attack easily. And that's when you implement the change of direction concept. So instead of following the natural way of playing the game and follow the game direction, you turn to the opposite direction and change the game direction. It's so effective. We can change the direction of the game by just dribbling and turn to the opposite direction, as simple as that. If you can dribble protecting the ball, you can even just pass the ball to the opposite direction, as simple as that. Not only moving forward, but also passing the ball back is also effective. And lastly, and the most effective and quickest way to change the game direction is the first touch. Controlling the ball to the opposite direction is the simplest way. So the main aim of changing the game direction is to ruin the opponent's anticipation. And this opens up some good options because the opponent will delay a little bit after that misanticipation. Let's have 2 quick examples. Here I concede this goal due to changing of game direction concept. The opponent cuts back and pass to his midfielder. He uses one-touch pass to another midfielder because he's switching sides. In switching sides using ground pass, you follow the game direction concept. And to switch sides effectively on ground, you have to make it quick. If you always follow our videos, you know this very well, and that's why the opponent used this one touch. So now the game direction is shifting to this direction, and I know this player is the next pass of that concept. I delayed in the player switching because of overcrowded defenders in the switching line, but I managed to switch to this center back before this player receives the ball. Now in my mind, I'm also defending this attack following the game direction since it has been the flow of the attack. So I rush to block the opponent's way to this space and at the same time applying pressure. But the opponent surprised me with the change of game direction, control the ball to the opposite direction, and beat my anticipation and score. Last example against the same opponent, but this time I scored. So here I have this passing option to my striker. I know the opponent is good, so we first cut that pass. Then he immediately attempt to press this ball holder. I expected that, and I used the controlled sprint and beat this defender and pass to my striker Mbappe. Here I performed the La Croqueta pass to my midfielder, take a touch away from the pressure, and pass to my winger. So here the game direction is flowing to this direction, and I expect the opponent to try and defend that because he defends proactively. As expected, I control the ball to the opposite direction, beat the opponent's anticipation, and shoot to score. But sometimes if you have space, you should follow the game direction even if the opponent is good. You only change the game direction if you have a feeling that the opponent is reacting quick enough, meaning he's defending the right purpose in a right time and position. Then that's when you change the game direction, but it all comes from experience. So practice and try it by yourself. One of the most powerful techniques to break tough opponents is to implement one-touch passing in your gameplay. It's very effective because a lot of times it's not expected, and that makes it unpredictable. Changing your passing rhythm is so beneficial, especially in and around the opponent's box. Some average opponents make this mistake of always pass and receive every time. This makes your game so unpredictable and also giving time to the opponent to react. Like this quick example. Here I pass the ball to this player around the opponent's box, and my intention is to pass to this player. And after I pass to one of these 2 strikers, turn and perform any boosty skill move and create something. But the main mistake, I controlled the ball first, and then I tried to pass to my striker, but the opponent intercepted the pass. But imagine if I just played one touch and turn, perform any skill move and get in behind. The opponent would have got no time to react. To be successful with your one-touch passing style, you have to plan how you're going to pass like 2 to 3 pass moves ahead. This will stimulate your creativity senses. in a way that you react very fast to every action. Being steps ahead of your opponent hints a big advantage on a mental state. Not only that, but it also tests the opponent's composure in defense actions and most especially the player switching players quickly and also accurately at the same time. It's so difficult. So here I play some quick passing around the box and ending up scoring this beautiful goal. Let's break it down and see how I did it and how it affected the opponent. Here I win the ball in the opponent's box. I have these 3 passing options. These tricks works best against proactive defender. As you see, he is anticipating this pass to this player. By the moment I control the ball, he will be in a right place and time to tackle the ball away. But my mind am playing a scenario ahead, whereby I pass the ball to this player, pass it to this midfielder, then to this midfielder and shift the game direction all the way to this striker, turn and score. I'm not saying that I always succeed with my plans. It depends on the opponent reaction and mostly especially his composure. So here I pass to this player and I play a one-touch to my midfielder. As you see, the opponent anticipates well, but I'm steps ahead of him and he didn't tackle the ball. Still, I play one touch to this player because I don't want the opponent to react and close up these spaces. He switches to his midfielder trying to cut this pass and also apply pressure. But as you see, I'm already using this space to open this passing lane to my striker. It looks simple because I used a one-touch pass to get the ball in a right position at a right time, whereby the opponent is steps behind this scenario. I turn and pass to my striker, turn into the space. The opponent can't do anything to stop this goal, maybe moving his goalkeeper, but he didn't, and I score. Some average players tend to ignore that pass to their strikers. Why? Because passing the ball to the striker, it's more risky. That's what they think, and they play safe and take less risky options. I'm not saying that they don't pass to strikers. They do sometimes. But today, we're going to learn the advantages of passing the ball to your strikers and how to do it effectively. First of all, defending this pass is somehow difficult to the majority. That defensive skill needs high level of right stick switch, a calm mind, and importantly, patience, which some players can't manage. Another advantage is that it ruins the opponent's defense shape. So when you pass the ball to your striker, the opponent is forced to defend using one of his center backs. Sometimes I tend to take a touch away from this defender's pressure, and the opponent follows my ball holder. This opens up space for my AI players to exploit, giving me plenty of passing options. I like to pass to my strikers many times because it forces mistakes. When you pass to your striker, it forces the opponent out of his comfort zone. So some players will panic and make unnoticeable mistakes like using the second man press where it's not necessary and drag defenders out of positions, opening up spaces leading to passing opportunities. Or it even tricks the opponent to overcommit trying to press this ball holder because as a result of panicking, dragging that defender out of position, I take this advantage and create a chance from that mistake and score. Another important thing to be aware of, if you're using any formation with 2 strikers, the moment you pass the ball to your striker, another striker will automatically run in behind. It happens many times, and I think that it's automatic. But if you do it, and this striker doesn't run forward, then you have to change his instructions. You stay forward, drift wide and get in behind for both strikers, such that any moment you pass to one striker, the other one will automatically run in behind, creating a deadly through pass opportunity. So you have to be aware of that. Let's have some 2 examples. Here I pass the ball to my winger and make a first-time pass to my midfielder. I trigger my striker to run forward using the L1 trigger. I control the ball safely and pass the ball to my striker using the driven ground pass, but with a pass and move technique, sending this midfielder forward. So now at this moment, as soon as my striker receives the ball safely, I know I have an opportunity to create something from it. I send this winger forward using the L1 trigger. I dribble just to open the passing angle to this running winger. But as we know, when you pass the ball to your striker, another one will run in behind. So here I have these 2 passing lanes. As the opponent is focusing on this running winger, I use the through pass and get the ball to my striker. I use this space and take my first touch forward, sprint forward. The opponent calls the goalkeeper out. I use the ball roll and shoot using the low driven shot to score. Last example, I use the driven pass and move to my striker, as we all know that another striker will automatically run in behind. But here I have no open lane to get the ball to that striker. So I control the ball safely trying to find other options. But the opponent is doing a good job of cutting all forward passes. So I decide to pass to my midfielder still using the pass and move technique. Here I want all my options forward. I make a first-time pass to my striker still using the pass and move. as we know the opponent has to defend using center back. I know that, so I control the ball away from this pressure. The opponent overcommits, and I also pass the ball to another striker, still using the pass and move, sending the striker Harry Kane forward. Now I know one center back is out of position, and I have 3 players running in behind. As the opponent cuts the pass to my winger, I pass to Harry Kane and take this through pass to my midfielder and score this easy goal. When choosing formations in this game, a lot of players, including me, prefer the back 4 formations, having 2 center backs and 2 fullbacks, and this combination is very hard to break if you manage to keep it well organized. But that's on your side. What if the opponent is not good at keeping the back 4 defenders in positions? Punishing this mistake is a trick not a lot of players are aware of. So if you see that the opponent has dragged out 1 defender from the back 4, defending with 3 defenders, it's the moment you be direct and try to create something out of it. So how do we punish this mistake? Mainly I tend to use through passes. I send my players forward using the L1 trigger. We have a video about it, link in the description. So I use the through pass or direct hard pass to try and get in behind of this disorganized defense and take this advantage to score. When taking this through pass, make sure you take the advantage of this open space. What am meaning? To whatever defender is displaced, right fullback or left fullback, right center back or left center back, try to direct your pass towards that position. For example, here the opponent dragged out this defender, a left center back. According to his formation lineup, I managed to pass to my winger. As now you're seeing the opponent is defending with 3 defenders, it's time to initiate a through pass setup. I send my striker forward using the L1 trigger. But before we continue, here is the thing. When that defender is dragged out of position, one of your AI players will make a run automatically towards that space, and sometimes in behind, so he will make himself available to be sent forward. In this example, Timo Werner runs towards this space on the left because the left center back is out of position, so I send him forward. I direct the pass through this position of left center back because there's space always, and as logically as that I get in behind and score this beautiful goal. Watch this 3 clips. Every through pass opportunity comes from 3 defenders, and the pass is directed towards the empty position because there's space.
And further. Memphis Depay. It looks the right ball.
But don't quote me wrong, it's not all about which defender is dragged out, but understanding where there's space. And because sometimes the opponent can drag out that defender, and when trying to cover that space opened, he overcommits with another defender, again opening up another space, and here you use this space and get the ball in behind and punish the opponent. Sometimes you can use the lob through pass. It's not all about the ground through pass. Again, you will be surprised how the lob through pass is so effective against these back 3 defenders. It's all about knowing how to balance between the ground and the aerial pass, which pass suits that moment. This type of first touch is so advanced and needs some time to master. It took me like 2 to 3 years of playing the game just to learn and start using it to break the opponent's defense even if he's good. But luck for you, don't worry because you're learning it by just watching this video. It's a direct first touch towards the opponent's goal. But this first touch is more advanced because it's so direct. And what surprises is that we use the pace, sprint to beat the opponent's defender and get in behind by force. You will understand later why it's by force. Consider these 3 aspects when receiving a direct paced first touch. 1 is space. This is so crucial among the 3. Controlling the ball is always towards the space. And here it's about using sprint because we want to get in behind the opponent's defense. Don't overcomplicate or overthink. If you control the ball while sprinting, make sure you take it towards the space. 2 is opposite direction. Try to always keep your eyes on the opponent's defender, that last defender. Whether he's selected or not, observe to which direction that defender is moving to, and then receive the ball in the opposite direction. Since you're using pace, it's very difficult for that defender to recover. Some players take long to switch to that last defender, but here the opponent is making it easy for you. Observe the AI defender movement. Take the ball to the opposite direction. AI defender moves slow and less reactive, so take advantage of that. Then lastly is player's body. This one is a little bit tricky. The first 2 aspects are just guidelines, not rules, which means they can be broken and still get away with it. You have to develop a feeling of using your player body to shield the ball when controlling it. This is common when you can't control the ball diagonally, because in a diagonal position you keep the ball safe and at the same time moving forward. But if you realize you can't control the ball diagonally forward, you control it horizontally or vertically, but the logic is to use the player's body to keep the ball safe. Our first trick is to dash the ball. This trick is so basic and it's so undermined by average players. But to tell you what, it's so overpowered whereby it's illegal to use it. Just kidding. But just know it's very, very effective to use. We have sprint where you press R2 or RT right. Here this player hits the ball 2 to 3 feet away every time he makes that ball contact. But when you're sprinting and your player is about to contact the ball, you can flick or hold the right analog forward. Here this player will hit the ball to a distance about 4 to 5 feet, and that's what we call dashing the ball. This needs space in front. As sprinting you need space, dashing you need that big space forward to avoid the ball being intercepted by the opponent defender. So when you see that the opponent is moving his defender into that space, you can just sprint normally and even change direction. Dashing boosts the speed of your player in a way that he runs much faster than when he's just sprinting normally. Here he covers a lot of ground in less time, giving no chance for the opponent to run back with his defenders and defend. You can dash on your first touch, just when your player is about to control the ball. You flick the right analog forward, or even after receiving the ball, you control it, and when there's some space in front, you dash and exploit it. You can even sprint. When you realize you have space in front, you dash and exploit that space. Just know it depends on the space in front, but the main aim of dashing is to run faster and leave that defender behind. If it fails, then the opponent has to overcommit. Then that's the moment you change direction and look for other options. So we have two purposes why we dash. One is to run very fast and leave that defender behind, or forcing the opponent to overcommit up to the point when his defender can't react to a change of direction. We use that advantage and create something. Let's have 3 examples. Here I use the pass and move to send this winger forward. I pass to my striker, wait for some little seconds and time this through pass to my running winger. So here some average players will just sprint normally towards the opponent's goal. But the opponent can switch to this center back and close up this space. And even this pressure from behind can affect the sprinting momentum of this winger, like pulling his shirt, slowing him down. So here I flick the right analog forward. I dash on my first touch. As you see, I run away from this pressure behind, and also giving no time for the opponent's defenders to recover. The next touch is just sprint normally and shoot, but unfortunately I didn't score. Another example, I see this through pass to my striker, and so I take it. I receive the ball sprinting because I have space in front. As soon as I feel the pressure from the opponent's fullback, and in front there's space towards the opponent's goal. Here I can sprint normally and run in behind, but I will face pressure behind from these defenders, and the opponent can sprint diagonally and block this path. So I dash forward and leave the defenders behind. The next touch I sprint normally. The goalkeeper moves out, so I pass to my free player and score. Last example, I pass the ball to my striker. So here I have many options to take, this space and this pass. So if I sprint normally, the opponent can defend this situation. How? He can position his defender in between my 2 options, the pass and the space, and then he later contain, giving time for his defenders to recover. So I decide to dash forward on my first touch. As you see, he didn't expect that, because he was preparing to deal with my 2 options passively. So after realizing I have the open way towards his goal, he decided to sprint and block that path. And this takes us to that purpose of forcing the opponent to overcommit to one direction. Now the opponent is overcommitting to this direction, and I know that because it's always part of the plan. So I scan and see my winger running inside. I ball roll and pass, control the ball and score, as easy as that. Another way to be unpredictable is to expect and surprise. How? You expect the opponent to perform a certain defensive action like cutting passing lane. Then if he does so, you instead dribble and beat his anticipation. This trick works best against proactive opponents who tend to overread the basic attacking moves. Here we have 3 ways to use this concept and counter that strategy of anticipating. Number 1 is passing the ball. If the opponent expects you to just dribble or control the ball, not a lot of opponents will expect you to dribble. Just those average players who tend to always press that player with the ball. But here we are dealing with smart opponents who anticipates a lot, and they will expect you to control the ball sometimes. But we have looked at this concept on the one-touch passes, and now you understand the power of one-touch pass and how to use it effectively. Next is when the opponent expects you to pass the ball. This is the common expectation, because to move forward quicker you have to pass the ball. Not only moving forward, but also getting into better positions to create opportunities like shooting angles and skill moves zones. Players who anticipate a lot will most of the times cut passing lanes. You have to always expect that and surprise the opponent and instead dribble. But it's not just dribbling. Here is a twist in 3 ways. 1. You can dribble, but instead with any boosty trick, the trick that can boost the player's speed and leave that defender behind, for example, stepovers. So when the opponent sees that pass and you know he's good at anticipating, you ignore that pass and instead dribble using that boosty skill move. 2. You can still pass to that very player the opponent is blocking. When you have that passing option and the opponent blocks that passing lane, you pretend like you're dribbling instead. The opponent will be tricked that now he has closed the passing lane and you're not forcing that pass but instead dribbling. Then that's the moment you react very fast and pass to that very player. I like to use this trick most especially around the box, when creating chances, and it works effectively against opponents who over-anticipate. Third is Division 2 passing options at the same time. Here you know very well the opponent will always block your passing lanes, but remember it's very difficult to close up 2 passing lanes of different angles at the same time. So if the opponent cuts one passing lane, you immediately take the other and gain the advantage. But here's a twist. These 2 passing options, there's that dangerous one you need. In defending concepts, we have that vision concept, where the direction your opponent faces, that's where he's mostly like to go or pass to. So here you face your ball holder in the direction of that second pass, which is less dangerous. And your opponent will read that and try to cut that passing lane. Then that's when you immediately pass to this effective option and create something. Take a look at these quick examples. I have this free open player. By the way, we shall have a video about reading the opponent's tendencies and learn how to understand the opponent's weaknesses and strengths, and tricks you can use to counter them. So here the opponent's weakness is over-anticipating, but also the strength is the ability to react quick enough. As you see, he's cutting this passing lane and I'm expecting that. That's why I didn't rush that pass. Now I know he will shift his focus away from that player because I'm not passing to him. And that's when I pass to him, control the ball and score. Second example, I pass to my player around the opponent's box. Here I have these 2 options, this striker and this running player in behind. And according to how I have played against this opponent, he's good at anticipating, and now I know his capabilities, he have to cut this passing lane. So I didn't rush the pass, because I know he will cut that pass, and then press my player. So I delay a little bit. As you see, he's very good, cut pass and immediately apply pressure. So I beat his anticipation with simple dribbling to delay, and pass to my striker, turn and shoot to the far post and score. Last example, I pass to my midfielder. So now I have 2 passing options available. Here the most rewarding pass is to this striker, because I will just turn and shoot. So I face my midfielder towards this less rewarding pass, and the opponent is dealing with that pass. So I use the driven pass to get the ball to this player quickly, because this second man press will block it. I pass to my striker, control the ball into the space and score. Last way to play unpredictable is to fake directions. This is very simple to understand, just dribbling and pretend like you're fully turning to a certain direction, but you make it halfway and turn back to the previous direction. And you guessed it right, works against opponent who over-anticipate. By the way, this fake dribbles works well when changing the direction of the game, so make sure you improve your left analog dribbling. Another way to fake direction is the way you control the ball. Still the same procedure, pretend like you're controlling the ball into any direction, then immediately turn back to the opposite direction. But this works most especially against average players who tend to overreact to any action the opponent attempts, so we shall not put it into consideration. Let's have one example. So here I'm controlling the ball with my midfielder at the edge of the box. I pass to other midfielder and make a one-touch pass to my striker. As you see, the opponent over-anticipates. So here I perform a simple skill move just to draw the opponent's defender closer. I have this space, but I have a feeling that if I just dribble forward, the opponent can press and tackle my striker. But I remember his weakness, over-anticipation. I fake like I'm dribbling to this direction, meaning that I'm considering the options on this side. As expected, the opponent reacts to that. I use the controlled sprint to drive inside and shoot far post and score. Mastering the art of keeping possession has many tools, and today we're going to look at one of the most undermined, but very effective trick to keep possession of the ball. When attacking, sometimes you find yourself in a body-to-body position with the opponent's defender, and in fact it's unavoidable. In this situation, your player is very vulnerable to lose possession of the ball. So in situation like this, you have to act smart by pressing just one simple button, the L2 or LT, the shield button. Shielding the ball, it may look simple and very basic, but it's very crucial in some situations, and it can make a very big impact on your attack. So in situation like this, when your player is facing pressure and the opponent's defender is very close, here the opponent can pull the shirt of your player, slowing him down, or even affecting other attributes like dribbling accuracy or shot or pass. But when you press L2, your player will use his or her body to protect the ball away from the opponent's player. And most of the times your player will use his or her hands to guard the ball, and this is the common way to shield the ball. And in some situations, you can use it on your first touch. Receiving the ball under pressure, you can use the shield button to push away the opponent's defender and keep possession of the ball. So let's have some examples and see how I personally use it. Here I send my striker forward into this space. Then I use the lob through pass and direct the pass into the space. As the ball is traveling, I see the opponent's defender very close to my striker, and so by the time I control the ball, I will face immediate pressure from this defender, which will negatively affect my player, like not dribbling smoothly because of pressure from the defender or pass errors. So I press L2 to make sure I first shield the ball, and as you see, my player uses his body to push away this defender. Now you see the effectiveness of this simple trick, and in the end I scored this goal. Another example, I pass the ball to my striker using an aerial pass, which means it's not an easy pass to control. Here the opponent is approaching like this. Here I'm in behind and I want to score, but an angle like this I will be in a closed angle, which limits my chances of scoring this goal if I shoot. So I decide to open up the angle by positioning my player diagonally, which we know very well it's an effective position to score from. But after turning to that position, the first touch of my striker is not that good. As you see, he's struggling to control the ball, and I'm facing pressure from this defender, which can negatively affect the shooting ability of this striker. So I use L2 to shield the ball, and also pushing this defender away, I get that space and score using a low-driven finesse shot. So that's it, guys. Start practicing using this simple trick. I guarantee you it will help you a lot. That's it for a short tutorial. Thanks for watching.